But as we know, that we're living in a state where everything is fear mongering, where we pick up our phone, every ping is something. If you go on social media, it's dramatic. If we go on open, turn on the TV, it's dramatic end of the world type scenarios always. I look at some of my group chats that I try to stay away from with college friends, and it's like, oh my God, did you hear this? It's the end of the world. Like, wow, this is happening. We're on the brink of World War III. And it's just, wow, if I stayed in that, I'd be like always in this nervous state and not able to listen to an intuitive side of me, my heart, my gut so much, and probably make poor decisions and start to over kind of dramatize the life that is truly in front of me. Is that part of what you're doing in Vital Mind Reset, is reestablishing a more balanced state where you're able to take in information without the overwhelming anxiety and everything else that most people feel these days?
So you use the word that I've come upon, which is relaxation.
Mm,
I have these two programs. I have Vital Mind Reset, which for women is called Vital, and then I have this other one based on my last book called Reclaimed.
mhm,
And they go together. And you do one first and then the other to move your way through this process of adulting, really. And the system I decided to call the relaxed woman system.
mhm,
And it's because I began to sensitize to other women's systems out there, right? And I could like stand next to somebody in line at the grocery store, or, a mom at my kid's school, or my own girlfriend, or my own daughter. And I could feel in my system almost like, a little metric, a little litmus of their state. And especially as women, this is, this co-regulation is what we do with infants. It's what your mom was supposed to offer you, okay?
mhm.
Especially in that first year, if not arguably the first 3 years. And as somebody who, went back to work at 3 weeks, I'm certainly not speaking from on high, right? Like having done it the correct way. But regardless, when I would feel inspired or expanded by a woman, when I would feel light, when I would feel playful, it was always because she's more relaxed than me. And so I began to prize that more than the stimulus, the excitement, the drama, and to recognize that I, like so many, I'm addicted, right,
Mhm.
to these spikes in my own system. And like harmonizing, integrating that addiction takes time. It's a process, it's like a practice. But the goal, the place that you arrive at, is that you feel more unbothered, right? You feel more self possessed. You allow things to be playful instead of resentful and disappointing, or invoking, sort of vigilance or punishment, right? You exit these dynamics that keep you in a highly activated state. And you don't
Mhm.
do that until it's actually more compelling to you to
Right.
taste that relaxation. But from a somatic perspective, it's called titration. You gotta take it a little bit at a time, because otherwise your system will collapse back to the familiar, right? So
Mhm.
maybe you have an unscheduled hour, and instead of scrolling or watching something, you get cozy on the couch and you spend the whole hour asking your body, what is it that you need? Right? Do you want me, do I massage my shoulder? Maybe my feet are cold. Maybe I'm thirsty. Maybe I want to go under the blanket, right?
Mhm.
Maybe I want to like, run my fingers through or brush my hair. And you just ask over and over and over again, what is it that I need right now? This kind of dialogue, beginning to develop a relationship with your own body, requires that you deprogram some very deep shit from childhood. I mean,
Mhm.
we were, most of us, raised in institutional educational facilities, and we were told when we could eat, and we were told when we could pee and poo, and we were told, when we could speak or not, and whether we're good or bad. So in those early formative years, to be programmed to this extent it's almost amazing to me that we can even change,
Yeah.
because you couldn't design a more malevolent, strategy for, indoctrinating the populace, just to get a little, conspiracy realist
Hmm.
about it. Uh, so that's why, I sometimes talk about, I joke that I call it urinary reclamation, that one of the most powerful things you can do, and I speak as a woman, so I'll give this recommendation specifically to women, uh, is to start to develop a different relationship to how you pee.
Hmm.
Okay. So we have a habit as women of prioritizing somebody else's experience of our body over our body. Okay, we do this sexually where we're like performing. We don't even know what it's like to attune to ourselves in bed. We do it in our roles as mother and, employee or CEO or whatever. We are often located outside of ourselves in our attention and our efforts. And biologically, we do this too. And of course, like I mentioned, it's been conditioned in. So instead of saying, I'll be right back. I'm going to go pee quick. I'm just 2 seconds. I'm going to go pee. Right. Instead of saying that, if you're with somebody, of course,
Hmm.
you simply say, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And I challenge any woman listening. This is extremely disruptive to sometimes decades of this habit. And you also prioritize actually going to the bathroom when you have to. So you don't
Yeah.
wait, right? Like in this interview, I'm good now. But if I had to pee at this point in my career, I would say, hey, I'm going to pause for a minute and go. I never, I remember the first time that I ever did that. I was on Luke Story's podcast. It was 3 hours long. And it was the first time I ever said, you know what? My biology matters. And I'm going to go to the damn bathroom. Okay. So you go, you don't offer caveats about how quick you're going to be. And then when you are actually in the bathroom, you tune in to the inbuilt pleasure of moving from the discomfort of having to pee to the relief of having peed. In your body are all sorts of pleasurable experiences. I could literally run my nails up my arm and get goosebumps at how like intense that sensation is, right? So you do this practice, and it is a part of how you can reclaim your biology and start a trustworthy dialogue with your own body. Because if you're bringing to bear that tyrannical, you do what I say, and that, it's like you're acting like a pimp to yourself, right? Just whoring yourself out in terms of your needs based on any relationship that's in front of you, it's going to be impossible for you to access the magic of this vessel, which is the intuitive yes and the intuitive no, right? You won't ever have to make a decision again. Literally. No pros and cons list, no nothing, no doubts, no I got to talk to 10 people. You will literally just feel, yep, nope. And you'll go through your entire life with that navigational compass restored. To me, I'm not sure there's a superpower. I'm more interested in that than that. So if it comes through these small little efforts, these small little commitments to care, about your biology, about getting back in harmony with your own needs, then it's a good place to start, right? Because you can get to the, healing your lineage, and I'm very interested in all those things, trust me. But you can get to that and it will come naturally. It will unfold. It's not going to be a will-based thing where you're, putting it on your to-do list. It's just going to be a part of putting one foot in front of the other and trusting your own process.
It's so interesting you bring that up on the urinary side of things and you're because I was literally having a talk with a friend who's a DO, an acupuncturist, about a patient I knew or somebody, and they were having problems with their kidneys and urinating and everything. And he's like, kidneys are kindness. You need to be kind to yourself. Every single cell is listening to your thoughts. If you have that thought of, I can't go to the bathroom or this and that, I can't leave the situation and do that, your body picks up on it and it starts to react to that. So you have to understand that you have to be kind to yourself. Your cells are always speaking and listening. And that's why you ask questions and you get things in return from it. And it is true. You have to reframe kind of the way you go about things instead of this shameful or it's only going to be a second, sorry, I'm burdening you, to this is a beautiful detoxification process. This is cleansing my inside to become healthier and more free and purified, right? When you shift just that little thing, everything starts to shift. So it's a beautiful, beautiful analogy, and that's so funny you brought that up.